I call the member for Coomera.
Mr Speaker, it's the time for hazard reduction burning by our rural fireys once again, and I'm proud to say I have 4 rural fire brigades protecting property in the Coomera electorate: Cedar Creek Wolfdean Rural Fire Brigade, Rocky Point Rural Fire Brigade, Ormeau Rural Fire Brigade and Wasp Creek Rural Fire Brigade. We all remember how devastating the fires were less than 12 months ago, and I know that in our area we dodged a bullet. In conversation with my local volunteers, I was alarmed to hear that what they used to do in hazard reduction burns in decades past, doing everything in our region in a 5-year cycle, hasn't been able to be done for the past 15 years. An LNP government will change all that. We'll introduce a 10-point plan to overhaul Queensland bushfire strategy to improve public safety and protect property. As Leader of the Opposition, Deb Frecklington, said when introducing the plan, the LNP will take decisive action to get Queensland bushfire ready in the wake of the incredible tragedies we have seen in New South Wales and Victoria. In a bushfire-prone state like ours, the government must stop at nothing to ensure communities are kept safe. The LNP will make sweeping improvements to Queensland bushfire strategy to make the state more prepared and more able to respond in emergencies. The LNP 10-point plan for bushfires includes to have a one-stop shop to streamline approval processes, establishing a single point of contact for landholders and councils to submit all bushfire mitigation inquiries and permits, implement deemed approval after 15 business days under a right-to-burn model, meaning properly made applications will automatically be approved after 15 days, introduce new KPIs to achieve 98% of hazard reduction activities, because there are currently no KPIs holding government departments to account on hazard reduction burns. Between 2016 and 19, only 54% of hazard reduction burns planned have been completed. There's also been a 30% reduction in completed overall hazard reduction activities. The LNP will trial a traditional burn program run by Indigenous rangers. The program won't replace rural fire brigades' role in managing and coordinating hazard reduction burns. It will complement pre-existing efforts by combining the two. Establish a Natural Disaster Cabinet Committee to monitor preparations chaired by the Emergency Services Minister and QFES Commissioner. It will also monitor the progress of state departments and landholders. Monitored grazing of state forests and some national parks will also be implemented. The establishment of an urban rural fire brigade, fire volunteer brigade like those in Sydney and Melbourne. Restore local control to rural fire brigades. Establish a rural fire brigade board to be made up of elected rural fire brigade members from across Queensland, and review a review of aerial firefighting capabilities and stocktake of aviation fire assets in Queensland.
Speaker. I call the member for Cairns.